what I think would be perhaps different is in Dolpopa's case, and also in the case of most other Shentongpa scholars, those who argue for other emptiness, if some of the audience don't know the Tibetan term Shentongpa stands for people who argue that Buddha nature is not empty of its own nature, but only of adventitious affliction. So in that case, you seem to see the use of words like Nishprapancha, Dödel, a lot, but not so much in the same way as, say, Tongpa. Whereas Longchenpa seem to clearly say that Buddha nature is actually Tongpa and Selva. Dolpopa will not quite go to the extent to say Buddha nature is Tongpa. It's Tongpa of maybe some other Atman, but not of itself, right? So do you think that there is a distinction there, even in terms of choosing the words?
Yes, certainly. Even when you say Chuchindang Chunyi is more Chikpa, you would have a lot of difference, certainly. And also the way we understand Tongba, even I think Rongzompa is very differentiated even in the use of Tongba. He would say that there is a narrow sense and a very strict sense and so on. Even Todel, maybe even Yogacara sources would use the word Todel, but that's certainly not in the same way that, that the Madhyamika scholars or the Tathāgatagarbha scholars would use. But in my view, one important distinction that I believe to have discovered, and I'm so sorry that I couldn't deliver this paper to Marcus for the publication. We had a conference in Vienna on the Tathāgatagarbha, and what I was trying to say in that paper is to try to find out exactly the relationship between Tathāgatagarbha theory and the Pratītyasamutpāda. And this is very telling because that would show exactly the difference. For example, it is very clear that for Dolpopa or for many Shentongpas, if something is Pratītyasamutpāda, you presuppose that this phenomena must be duje conditioned, right? But there's no way for Dolpopa to consider Tathāgatagarbha to be conditioned and somehow called, somehow that one can characterize it as Pratītyasamutpāda. Then I was trying to compare this exact position with regard to Rongzompa. How does he see? What is its exact relationship? And in the end, I must say I was a bit surprised to find out is that they're to a certain extent, they seem very similar. For example, there is even a very technical word. I tried to write it down. I forgot. What is this called? Sorry. Sorry, now maybe I'll forget about this technical term. Rongzompa presupposed this idea, which is very popular everywhere, and Mipam cites it, and everybody cites it, is the I mean, we know all of this. Yeah. And Wangchuk too, the bodhi or nirvana too is illusory. Yeah? This is completely unacceptable from a Dolpopa's standpoint. Yeah? There's no way nirvana in its absolute sense can be Jumadam Milamtabu, right? So for Dolpopa, actually, Tendel or Jumadam Milamtabu is only half the phenomena that, that is conditioned and samsaric, never connected with the Tathāgatagarbha. But Rongzompa too knows this, and he says, you have Chutam, there is a statement, which is very categorical, where you can make no exception. And there is a statement where you first make a categorical statement and you retract it, saying that, you see, every phenomena is, or all phenomena is illusory, except nirvana. Sorry, our female members of the audience, of course, is Bime are all like Juchen, like maybe you can say, I don't know, skillful or seductive, whatever, except Dachoma, female arhat, right? So you, on the one hand, you have a categorical statement and you retract it by making another exception. Yeah? So this is true with the, he knows this statement. So it's all phenomena Jumatabu except nirvana. But this is very important. Rongzompa does retract the idea that nirvana cannot be illusory. But the reason is completely different. Why can nirvana not be said to be characterized by illusoriness? Because ultimately he says, so long as you give an characteristic to nirvana and samsara, you can talk of illusoriness. This is his standing point. So long as you give a characteristic, at least on the conventions, okay, this is nirvana, it has its characteristic, etc. You can talk of illusoriness. But the point is ultimately, or really, or actually, neither samsara nor nirvana has ever any characteristics. So there's no way you can define this as illusoriness, etc. So he's retracting in a way, you see. And I think the one example that will make clear is his example of mirage water, right? So his indivisibility of the true mode of reality, Dambani Ermepa, can only work if we keep the example of mirage water. So the virtual presence of mirage water and the actual absence of real water is one and the same. And this, in this regard, his indivisibility is only in this sense. So in other words, when you see a mirage water, there had never been a water, any water, and you may or may not see, but there never has been water. This, only in this sense, it is a Dambani Ermepa for him. And I think this is in a way also made clear by Mipham, who says, and I think Nagarjuna and many sutric scripture is that that which seem to appear on the basis of causes and conditions have never arisen, never. So this is only in this sense is Dambani Ermepa. And I think if we miss this point, we will never understand Rongzompa's idea of absolute reality and that which is equitable with Tathāgatagarbha. He clearly equates Dejin Sheikh Nyingpo with the Dambani Ermepa. So here we see I think, a difference.